but we don't talk about that here. This channel is not about me. This channel is about you. But I want to talk about the 5 reasons not to pursue government contracting. So if you welcome to my channel. My name is Curtis A. Merriweather Jr. In 2020, I was named a game changer by the White House Policy Advisor for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. But today, I want to serve as your government contracting mentor. Now, our channel is unlike any other channels. Our goal is to help overcome your business and your government contracting challenges. And one of the ways we do that is through education, training, and consultation support services. Now, we're different because our channel is based on 26 plus years of government contracting experience. I got started government contracting in high school. I've been in this space for a long time. Now, on top of the practical experience I've had, I've invested very heavily in my education. So we're going to be able to bring master's level, doctoral level education, plus the 26 years of practical experience. So I look forward to potentially working with you on your government contracting journey. Now, I have a great topic for you guys today. But before I jump into my topic, I am defending my PhD dissertation on February 28th, 2023. So in order to celebrate that, for a limited time, I'm going to do a 23% coupon code, PhD 23. Now, I defend on the 28th, which is a Tuesday afternoon. I'm going to let the coupon code expire on Saturday evening. That's going to be 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you'll have until that weekend to use that code to get a 23% discount on all of the classes in our course library. If you go to 8-Figure GovCon /store, you'll be able to get a hold of that discount. This is for a limited time. I'm going to say this. I don't know when we're going to run another sale. We ran a sale in January to kick off the new year, and now we're running the sale to commemorate my dissertation defense this month. This is the month of February, if you're looking at this recording at a later time. So we're just doing this to celebrate a huge, monumental celebration in my life. So I just want to share and celebrate with you. Okay. Now, our mentorship program is launched. I've heard you guys on YouTube land been asking me, how do I work with you, Kurt? So we have launched a mentorship program. Now, this mentorship program is going to give you access to the entire course library. And we already do 2 Zooms every month for all of our government contracting students. So this is going to give you 4 weeks of access to me every week. Every week, we're going to do something. So you're going to have the government contracting curriculum, plus the mentorship curriculum. The mentorship curriculum is going to be focused on helping you to be the best executive you can be. I got a lot of tools and tips and techniques that we're going to expose you to that's going to help you rise to the level you need to be as an executive. And then, of course, you're going to have access to the government contracting curriculum, which is going to help you level up as a government contractor. So we want to work on your business with the government contracting, and we want to work on you in that mentorship program. Okay. Now that we have all of that out the way, I have a great topic for you guys. I want to talk about the 5 reasons not to pursue government contracting. But before I do, I want to give you a moment. If you have not already, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe. And I really enjoy the comments that I get in the comment section. That gives me new ideas for new videos. This channel is really dedicated to you all. I want to pay it forward and share the wealth of knowledge that I've accumulated over the years. I share that here free of charge. Of course, most of the stuff I talk about on this on the YouTubes are not things that are covered in my courses. So we go up above and beyond with this free resource called YouTube, and we're going to get things that I haven't even talked about in my courses. But enough of that. Let's jump into our topic. I want to talk about the 5 reasons not to pursue government contracting. Now, you go on YouTube, you scroll the YouTube streets, everyone is talking about this multi-trillion-dollar industry that we call government contracting, and everyone is sharing their testimonials about the money they make. We don't do that on this channel. This channel is about you. It does not matter how many contracts I've won, and I've won a lot of them. We've done more than $1 billion in contract ceiling since my 10 years of government contractor actively as a founder of a government contracting firm. But we don't talk about that here. This channel is not about me. This channel is about you. But I want to talk about the 5 reasons not to pursue government contracting. So if you fall into one of these 5 categories, I want you to push the pause button, address the issue, correct it, and then jump back in the game. So I want to identify, if you fall in these categories, there's some internal work you need to do to readjust your mindset to find success in this space. Now, let's go ahead and just jump into it. Number 1, if you're seeking a get-rich-quick scheme, abandon government contracting today. Now, I know this goes contrary to a lot of the conventional wisdom on YouTube. You'll find people who've been in this space a year, 2 years, 3 years, proposing to be some self-proclaimed guru or found some loophole in the FAR Part 13. And I digress. But if you're looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, this is not it. Now, let me say this before I even jump in. Any person, pick my words very carefully, can win a contract once. Can you maintain? Can you sustain? And can you be profitable in that contract is the question. Winning a contract is not really that big of a deal. It is the management of the contract post-award. But in government contracting, you will potentially see a longer sales cycle. Just the registration process in government contracting alone is not an overnight thing. That should give you some indication. Success normally costs more than you want to pay. And sustained success, sustained success takes longer than you imagined. And success on any level, whether we're talking government contracting, business, arts and entertainment, it's always going to take you longer than you anticipated if you're going to do it correctly. I'm a big believer in investing in the craft, in the art and science of entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship can be applied in many different contexts. But one of the contexts that most of you guys know me for is in the government contracting context. So I'm all about the art and the science. I'm not the get rich quick guy, because one of the things, if you know anything about the lottery, most people who have instant success overnight, most of the time it's not sustainable. Go and do a study on the lottery winners and look and see how many of them maintain their wealth long term, and many do not. There's a big difference between being rich and being wealthy. But I could spend a whole video on that, but we're gonna keep moving. Number 2. So number 1, we talked about, if you are looking for a get rich quick scheme, abandon ship today. Success always costs you more than you think. It takes you longer than you think. It's going to cost you. It's going to cost you time. It's going to cost you talent, and it's going to cost you your treasure or your money. It's going to cost you. Are you willing to pay the cost? Number 2, if you don't want to do any work, abandon ship today. There was a famous economist named Milton Friedman, and he came up with this thing called 10 Means there's no such thing as a free lunch. meaning we don't get something for nothing. That's not how this works. That doesn't even work in economics. It doesn't work that way. Tell me somewhere in life where you can get something for nothing. Not talking about anything spiritual. Tell me natural principles where you can get something for nothing. And then the question you have to ask yourself is, what problem is your business solving? Everyone is not government contractors today, although many aspire to be. But if you're currently employed, if you want to keep your job, you have to provide some value. You have to do some work, whether that's knowledge work, that's where you're using your brain, whether that's some type of physical labor. Your employer is expecting you to do something. So it amazes me when I come across government contractors who naively believe they can do minimal but receive a lot. I don't know where else that works, but in government contracting land, because of the the variety of government contracting experts, there's this false notion that I can do little to nothing and receive um, immeasurable, comparatively speaking, success. And I don't know where that works other than on YouTube, personally. I don't know where that philosophy flies and where it gets as much popularity as it gets other than on YouTube. But if you had a job, you would not stay gainfully employed if you did nothing. But yet people want, and you're making, let's just say you make $50 an hour, 25 an hour, 1670 an hour. So if your employer wouldn't keep you around at 1650 an hour, 22 or $100, whatever, however much money you make, if your employer wouldn't keep you around at that salary for doing nothing, why would the government pay you tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions for doing minimal effort? I don't know where that philosophy holds any weight other than on YouTube, but I'm just saying. Number 3, stop the press in government contracting if you're not willing to make investments in time, talent, and treasure. Call your money. It's going to cost you all 3 of these, either directly or indirectly. We all trade time for money. We all do. So if I'm exchanging time, that means I am putting off something in order to reach something else. Many times we hear this talked about in terms of delayed gratification. I invest in one area to get some future benefit somewhere else, hopefully larger later. We all have 24 hours in a day, and how you spend that time will determine your eventual success or failure. I'm talking about sustained success. I'm not talking about these one and dones, because I can run you a list a mile long of people who got one contract and then for whatever reason they're out the game for a variety of reasons. So I'm not talking about, my grandmother say any fool can make $1, but can you keep the money that you're making is the question. Now, how do we expect to learn skills that we don't have if we're not willing to invest our time, our talent, and our treasure, our money? How do we expect to do that? Most of us have education, at least K through 12 in the United States. And the purpose of school is to teach you how the world works. That's why you went through kindergarten to 12th grade, and some of you went on and got college degrees and masters, and some of you PhDs and doctorates. But the purpose of school was to teach you how the world works. And the philosophy is, whether true or false, the philosophy is that the better you understand how the world works, you can ascertain or extract more benefit. So we were supposed to learn, and I recognize everyone didn't. We were supposed to learn critical thinking. We were supposed to learn English, which is how we develop our communication skills. We were supposed to learn history, because history tells us that if we understand the past, we won't repeat the mistakes of our predecessors. We learn math, not to become proficient in calculus and calculus 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I had to take an undergraduate, or algebra, trigonometry, or basic or applied math. The whole premise was to teach you how to solve problems. Even in life and in business, Life is going to give you problems. You're going to be given some givens, in a math question, they'll tell you these are the things that we're giving you, or givens. These are knowns. And now you're normally having to solve for unknowns in algebra. Same in life. And the reasoning and rationale is if you can solve math problems, it's the same muscle, it's the same exercise that will help you solve life problems. I majored in engineering in undergrad, and I was required to take calculus 1, calculus 2, vector calculus, which I call calculus 3, differential equations, linear algebra. I was taking a lot of math and physics and chemistry. And the whole premise behind it was for us to develop muscles in our brain that maybe were undeveloped. That was the premise behind it. Ask me how much of that math I use today, none of it. However, I learned how to exercise the muscle of problem solving. That's the purpose of education. But even in your own life, you were forced to in the United States to go to college, go to high school from K through 12 and get a basic education or a GED or some equivalent form of education. And that's an indication that, number one, you can persevere and you can stick to something and you have the ability to learn. That's all our education teaches us, is telling our employer that we had the ability to stick to something for 12 plus years and learn. But more importantly, it was designed to make sure we knew how the world works and how to better extract value from the world. Now, we can get into a whole philosophical debate of how well we're doing that in the United States, but that's just the purpose. I digress. Number 4, this is a reason why you should not pursue government contracting. You do not want a boss or supervisor. Well, let me give you a news flash. You would trade one boss or supervisor and pick up many. It gets me when people say, I don't want to work for anyone. You're going to work for a lot of people when you decide you're going to become an entrepreneur. Number one, you're going to work for your employees. I believe in servant leadership. There's a famous quote by John Maxwell who says, ask for their heart and they'll give you what's in their hand. Well, you say, well, how do you do that? Well, number one, you got to create corporate culture. When I create corporate culture, my employees know that I care about them. And so therefore they don't have a problem doing the things that I ask and demand of them, because as long as it's legal, ethical, moral, or not downright stupid. We have a fiduciary responsibility to our employees. The more employees we have, the more people we have to answer to. You don't believe me? Do not pay your employees and see what happens. See what happens. And if you're a government contractor, let me let you newsflash, by law, you cannot not pay your employees and any subcontractors. That is unpermissible in government contracting land. And all they have to do is make one phone call to the contracting officer or specialist. And now you have a potential performance issue because you didn't pay your employees. That is not treating your employees with dignity and respect. But let's keep moving. Number 2, who else are you going to work for once you forfeit your boss, so you turn your boss in, and now you're going to decide to be an entrepreneur? You're going to work for the finance institution. There's a scripture that says the borrower is servant to the lender. So this is your banks. This is your credit facilities. Don't do what the bank asks you to do and see how long your line of credit stays intact. Don't submit the reports they told you to submit. Don't pay back your interest and principal on time and see what happens. Government agencies, if you're a prime contractor, now you're beholden to that government agency. You want to keep that contract, you're going to do what that contract asks you to do, or you're not going to hold on to that contract very long. Sounds like we picked up at least 3 new superiors already. If you're a subcontractor, each prime contractor, that subcontract administrator and or program project manager just became another employer. Oh, and if you got your certifications, if you're going through the SBA process, then every year when you have to do your annual reports, that SBA Business Opportunities Support Specialist, don't turn your report in on time and see how long you keep that certification. So this is not a reason to become a government contractor, because you don't want someone to have to report to, because you're going to trade one and pick up many. And everyone is not nice. So you say, well, my supervisor is not a nice person. There's a lot of people out here that are not nice. And especially in government contracting land, when there's a perception that we make extreme amounts of money, and then the people you're reporting to are not always happy about that. But let's keep moving. Number 5, you are a poor problem solver. Kurt 1-1, the book of Kurt. He who solves problems gets paid. Let's talk about the inverse. You don't solve any problems, your money is not going to reach its optimal potential. Look at all of the innovation in the world. That innovation created a transfer of funds from one pocket to another. Look at your phone, whether it's an Android or an iPhone. Someone solved the problem. And because of that problem that was solved, businesses were created, employees were hired, and funds are exchanged. Your success in business is based on your problem solving ability. Let me go ahead and tell you something. Business is a big ball of problems that you have to navigate through. And he who navigates those problems most successfully and profitably wins. Market share is won or lost through problem solving. You're going to have to deal with contractual challenges, employee conflict and disputes, family demands. Because while we're running businesses, your spouse or your partner or your children may need you. You still got to balance that with the demands of the business. You're going to have financing challenges, not if, when. Because sometimes the banks can't keep up fast enough with the rate of growth of your business. This is a true thing. This is a fact. The banks sometimes are slow to respond. So what are you going to do? You want a brand new contract. You picked up a new $10 million contract and you got $1 million line of credit, and you find out your $1 million line of credit is not enough. How fast is it going to take your bank to respond? I'm going to go ahead and give you a news flash. It's going to take them a little while. So what are you going to do in the meantime, in between time? Are you going to put an intercredit memo in place? Those things got to get approved. Payroll. See, unless you felt the flames of payroll as an entrepreneur, there's not a whole lot you can tell me. Because see, that payroll is going to come for us on the 7th and 22nd of every month, whether that invoice was paid on time or not, whether the line of credit has room left on it or not. So how are you going to solve your payroll challenges? Oh, and let's not forget taxes. So if you can't solve problems, I really don't encourage you to come over here. I encourage you to find another line of work. But the bigger the problem that you solve, the bigger the potential reward. But that's what I want to share with you. I find so many people that want to get involved in government contracting, and sometimes their expectations just are not where they should be. So the whole purpose of this is for you to really have a mindset check and determine your why. Why are you getting in this? What is your reasoning for doing this? I hope many of you guys, matter of fact, hope all of you guys find success. But in this game called business, there are winners and losers. Everyone is not going to win. That's not me wishing bad on you. But Blockbusters never thought they was going out of business until Netflix came along. Mike Tyson says, what are you going to do when somebody punches you in the face? Business is war. Market share is gained or lost. So you have to have the ability to solve problems. So this was not to discourage you, but to give you a reality check. It's a reality check. A lot of folks make money off your ignorance. And I'm here to be the voice of reason, to say, here's some things you need to consider before you jump out here. Now, as many of you know, government contracting literally changed my life. And it can do the same for you. But you have to be willing to see if you're willing to make the efforts. And make the mental adjustments to find success in this space. What I did is not unattainable for any of you, but are you going to be willing to do what's necessary to find success? And that's sometimes meaning having the right mindset and putting the right protocols and systems in place to win. Rome wasn't built in a day, but you can do this if you're willing to put in the time, the energy, and invest in the necessary know-how to do this game ethically, legally, and most of all, in compliance with the FAR. But that's all I have for you guys today. I hope this video was sobering. I hope it makes you think about some of the things I suggested and figure out how you're going to make the proper adjustments in your life so you too can find success in government contracting. Well, that's all I have for you. Until next time. Hey, before I go back and watch some of my other videos. I'm gonna link some videos in this, and I want you to go back and watch them and leave me a comment, subscribe, and like, and turn on the notification bell. And I look forward to seeing you in future videos. Until next time.